The Pistons are the basketball champions of the world.
Detroit, it's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Shout out Detroit. I got to buff up, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, I'm all the way in. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Buff Down Podcast. We are the best POD in the 313, and the Detroit Pistons are playoff bound for the first time since the 2018-19 season. Valley and I were talking before we started recording, and we were talking about how when we first started this podcast, we were talking about Hamidou Diallo and Killian Hayes. And the first 2 years of this podcast, the Pistons won like a total of 31 games. We won 14 games last year. I think we won 17 the year before that. But here we are standing at 43 wins, and we have officially clinched a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. We don't yet know who we're playing. It could be Indiana. It could be New York. We still have to wait and see. But we have some still regular season basketball to talk about today. We're going to talk about how the Pistons have been performing in the absence of Cade Cunningham. Valley has a couple fact or cap questions for us. And then we're going to take a look at the last 5 games of the regular season and what we're going to need to see, because of those last 5, 3 of them are against New York and Milwaukee. So potential playoff matchups there, and a tough one tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. So Connie, I kick it over to you first. What has stood out to you during the last stretch where Cade Cunningham has not been able to suit up the Pistons?
What stood out to me is that the Pistons are really doing it by committee right now. It doesn't feel like there's 2 possessions in a row where the same guy takes the ball up the court. I mean, it is a lot of Dennis Schroeder, but it won't always be him, and he'll get off the ball quite a lot. It is just a little bit of everything, and playing like insanely hard. I think we're really causing teams some trouble. I mean, the Thunder game is one thing. You kind of throw that out with 5 guys out. The Timberwolves game, that thug Dante DiVincenzo threw that game off. I think we would have still won if that guy hadn't started that. But it really goes back to the Cleveland Cavaliers game, where we are playing the best team in the Eastern Conference, an extremely tough team at full strength. All their starters are there, and the Pistons just kind of play them out of the gym. I mean, it was a huge game from Tim Hardaway Jr., who's had a great week, but it was really everybody. You know, we had all 5 starters over 15 points. Jalen Duren was the lowest with 16. We had 2 guys off the bench scoring double digits with Ron Holland and Stu. It was just everybody getting a taste, and the scoring matches the way that it's being played, where it is just like we go from a very one guy offense to kind of death by 1,000 cuts. It's been a fun week, even though we have had a lot of guys missing.
It has been. It has been. It's do you want to touch on that brawl a little bit more? You have anything else to add on that?
I mean, I don't see why Ron Holland was suspended at all. I think if we're gonna get into that later, we don't have to talk about it. But I mean, pre that brawl, the Pistons were straight up outplaying the Timberwolves. But you know, tempers flared. Again, I don't have to say it again. But I will. Dante DiVincenzo, a mindless thug, just attacking a teenager on a basketball court. No, some guys deserved it, some guys didn't. Wasn't the most beautiful game. So no, I don't really want to talk about it more than that.
Fair. Gabe, do you have anything else to add on how you feel the Pistons have been playing in the absence of Cade Cunningham?
They've been playing really well, and I think it's extremely I think you mentioned this, that good teams just rest their good players at this time of the year, and we just haven't been a good team in a long time. So for this team to get reps without Cade, where earlier in this season, especially before the trade deadline, like the ball would just stick and we'd just get terrible shot after terrible shot when Cade wasn't on the court, especially after the Ivy injury. But now, except for like 5 minutes of last night's Toronto game, seems like we still run our offense. We understand where our strengths are. Like there were possessions where at the end of the game where Schröder just abused Jamison battle ISO one-on-one just over and over and over again. And there are other times where we saw JD is just a monster and we just run through him, or Malik Beasley can get his guy into trouble, right? So I think we're understanding now. This team is not just Cade. It's not just Cade doing everything. Of course, it helps having one of the best players in the league out there, but you need to be able to play if Cade gets, too early fouls in the playoffs, or they put an instant double team on Cade and we have to play this series 4-on-3 like without Cade basically. So I think it's huge to have these games and to win these games. We play some tough teams. I was not expecting us to beat the Cavs. And we played the Thunder really well as well. Yeah, it's good to have these. I would like to have the rest of our guys in, like Tobias, to play these games, and the guys who are suspended, but they'll be back today in Stewart's case. To have that whole team kind of go through that mentality, because I think we are playing people who aren't necessarily going to play later, but that's just, again, April basketball. But all in all, I think it's great that Cade gets to rest here. We still secure our playoff position, and these guys get reps, having the ball in their hands and having to make stuff happen.
Yeah. Asar Thompson has been absolutely phenomenal in Cade's absence, just absolutely kind of unleashing his full skill set. Also, Jalen Duren, I forget who he hit. I don't remember if it was Fontecchio or maybe it was Lindy Waters yesterday, but it was on the break and he just had a one-handed whip pass and he hit
I think it
the
was
guy. Who was it? It was Fontecchio, and it was just I just was like I was not expecting it to be like on point in rhythm like that for Tech. So watching Jalen Duren kind of evolve this season, especially over this last stretch without Cade, has been enjoyable to watch. The other thing I
Yeah.
wanted to touch on is like during the stretch where we were before the deadline, when we were talking about how we need a backup point guard, because when Cade Cunningham is off the floor, this team just falls apart. We've now seen a few situations this season, and one even before the trade deadline, where without Cade Cunningham, the rest of the squad steps up. We beat Philadelphia at full strength earlier in the season without Cade Cunningham. We've beaten the Cavs without,
Impressive.
exactly. We beat the Cavs without Cade Cunningham. We beat the Pelicans without Cade Cunningham. But we also played the OKC Thunder pretty decently for like 3.5 quarters without Cade Cunningham. So it's a refreshing sight to see that though having Cade Cunningham and he is like the guy on this team, it's nice to see that when he's not there, when he's not on the floor, these guys are still able to hold their own against some pretty tough competition.
Yeah, that doesn't happen without dudes stepping up. You talked about Jalen Duren. I thought last night was one of the best Jalen Duren games I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
And it
he
wasn't
was
just what he was
the
doing,
best.
but like the way that he was doing it. Just straight up, like Jakob Poeltl's not a shit defender, and just like beating him in a variety of ways, down low, rebounding, just taking a guy off the dribble once in time. He looked almost Giannis like somehow on those fast breaks. There was
Yeah.
a play that really stood out to me because guys really you think of Duren, or I think the conception of Duren is rim roller, super athlete type guy, but those guys are limited most of the time. But Jalen Duren gets the pass on the breakaway, and right away, I think it's Sheed, tries to come in and rip him, like right when he turns around, like you would be able to do versus most big men. But Jalen Duren, without traveling, in one step, pops it up and then recovers the ball and goes for a dunk. So like it's this type of pressure that would usually flip off somebody that doesn't have that sort of skill set, but he absolutely has this higher level skill set that we're starting to see unlocked. He had a sick pass to a back cut just from the top of the key that looked very Bam Adebayo like. He has just been absolutely incredible, and on both ends too. Like really, really coming into his own. And again, I said it before this season, but I gotta just keep eating crow and being wrong about Jalen Duren because I was ready to throw some chips in it there at some point. Uh, but
Had
I'm
a couple
done.
of those backdoor passes. I think he had one to Sasser, one to Beasley yesterday. So it's not just like, oh, he did it once, can he do it again? It's like it's a part of what he can do.
He also had 3 blocks. I did think he lost. Oh, he had 4. He lost Hurdle a few times on like a kind of elbow pick and roll, and Pirtle was just off his game and missed like a million 5-foot floaters that game. If that's Karl Anthony Towns, those are probably going down. So I do want to see him recover a little bit quicker on those pick and rolls. Also, just real quick, every time those pick and rolls happen, if Asar was in the near corner, he'd help like crazy. And then it would lead to a wide open corner three, which AJ Lawson or Shed was knocking down. That's one of those things where I think like you got to know who you're playing against. This guy Pirtle couldn't hit a floater all game, and then you overcommit to send two at him in the paint, which leaves the corner wide open. Again, if that's like OG or if that's I don't know Bridges, that shot's probably gonna go down more than not. I would just like to see a little bit more knowing your personnel and defending against that specifically. Also, AJ Lawson was hell against Schluter last night. He completely ate him up for like a quarter and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. Jamal Shed did a really nice job guarding Schroeder as well. Jamal Shed was just a nuisance for our guys all game, and it was kind of cool to see him and Sasser going at it. I believe they were both teammates at Houston, so it was fun to see them battle it out a little bit. But anything else to touch on about this team without Cade Cunningham? Valley, you haven't really had a chance to jump in yet. Do you have anything to throw in here? I know you didn't catch a couple of the games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that really um, emphasizes and encapsulates what the team has been able to do without Cade Cunningham recently was said perfectly by JB Bickerstaff when he got the belt after that win against Toronto, where he goes together always and always together. Or I think maybe Cade was the one leading that huddle. But that's been the motto all season. And I want to go over to Tim Hardaway Jr., who I also need to eat crow about and I need to formally apologize to. He's been saying next man up ever since kind of we've been starting to get this injury bug a little bit, and that couldn't be more true. The next man up mentality is huge with this team. And Jalen Duren said in his post-game press conference the other day, the phrase "one more" and how much that means to him. That could be in a basketballing sense. He said like passing the ball one more for your teammate, or one more effort play. And he also mentioned that's something off the basketball court, just being there for these guys. So I think that next man up, that together always, always together mentality is so strong with this team. But I want to shout out Tim Hardaway Jr. I again, I'm sorry, Timmy. I think that the shot selection he takes sometimes is questionable, but man, he's been on a heater. How big has Tim Hardaway Jr. been for this team? Knocking down ridiculous number of threes at an incredibly high percentage. When Cade's been out, he's been a huge source of offense. Teams having to deal with him and Malik Beasley. It's always one or the other on the court. Tim Hardaway's playing near 40 minutes a game in the last stretch here, in the last 2 or 3 games. And Beasley's always Beasley. The pressure that puts on the perimeter, which opens up things like backdoor cuts that Jalen Duren can hit guys on. It opens up so much. And I just really think that, again, like Duren said, what the vets have brought into this team, we can really reflect on now that we've made the playoffs, how impactful they've been. And Tim Hardaway Jr., despite struggling through parts of the season and being hot in other parts, has been an elite veteran to this team. Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris. I just think that we really need to appreciate the next man up and how much this team has bought in under JB Bickerstaff about caring for each other and being that next man up. I think that's been the key reason as to why we are here in this position currently. We all knew we weren't, like, what's the famous quote that Cade said, we're not 2-26 bad. We all knew that. We just needed the right guys and the right people in charge of this team to help lead us there. And it's really amazing that we're there. Again, I think Jalen Duren I think that's the best game he's ever played. When you talk about the 6 assists, you talk about the 4 blocks, it almost reminded me, I don't like him, I hate bringing it up, but it reminded me of the way Draymond Green hits backdoor cutters a tiny bit. Obviously, Draymond does it at a higher level, and he has more experience doing it. But I thought there were a lot of similarities there, and I noticed that when we play Golden State, I feel like we play it kind of a similar fashion with our emphasis on backdoors.
Especially when they take away the threes from Malik, and then he just cuts and
absolutely
right there. Yeah.
And Malik Beasley getting the start last night. Just always ready. I think you can't say enough about these veterans, and that's the way it's been all year. And I really think that they're a big reason as to why we're here, and everybody knows that within the team.
And another thing to note is that I don't know if the streak is still going on, but the Pistons were outscoring their opponent in the paint for a significant stretch of their
I,
games.
I think it ended versus OKC. I think it was
Oh,
the one of
I,
the longest because I know we were down like 40-17 in paint points, and I assume that we didn't.
yeah,
Bring that back.
it would be hard to overcome that deficit against OKC. But that's the other thing, right? Another thing to look at in the playoffs is like, oh yeah, they got guys like Malik Beasley, they got guys like Tim Hardaway, they got guys like Tobias, who's actually been hitting a couple of his threes off of the right wing, off catch and shoot, which is really good to see, in the corner. But like, not only that, if you want to overplay them, they're gonna go back door, and you're gonna have guys like Cade, like Schroeder, like Duran, who are going to catch them on the back door to get them an easy layup. So it's going to be a real interesting series to see how teams play us and how we react to it. But anything else to note on the Pistons without Cade Cunningham before we move into Valley's fact or cap?
I did see a really quick stat pop up on the TV last night. Asar Thompson has the highest percentage of points scored in the paint for total points of a player 6'7" or smaller. He scores like 78% of his points in the paint.
That's crazy. Also, he's been getting pretty good, like with his footwork down low and like getting up in traffic. Like, just shout out to Sar Thompson for just
Yeah.
playing so hard all the time.
I think he's just gaining confidence and understanding that he can do some things that other guys just can't do. And if he just goes for the move, most of the time people won't be able to keep up. I really liked against the Timberwolves. He tried that through. He started the game, I think, really, really well. He was playing really aggressively towards the rim, not scared of Rudy Gobert at all. He tried a little 360 layup, like John Wall style. He got fouled, didn't make it, but real nice. It seems like the only dude that Asar Thompson is worried about around the rim seems to be Hartenstein. Because Hartenstein, he's got something, man. That guy just swallows up JD and Asar Thompson when they try to dunk on him. It's very impressive. Like in a way that like Rudy Gobert doesn't intimidate these. It seems like has like isn't in their heads as much as Isaiah Hartenstein is.
Yeah,
Pretty wild.
thankfully we probably won't have to deal with Isaiah again until we make the finals. So we'll talk about
Yeah.
that then. Um, but I think that's all I got on the team without Cade. So Valley, you want to throw a couple fact or cap questions our way?
Absolutely, and I've got ammunition. I've got 8 of these, so if
Oh,
the
okay, let's
beat's
go.
flying, we can run them. But I guess the first one, I don't know how much of a debate this will be going back to that game against Minnesota. Um, so factor cap, the NBA got their suspensions right in the Pistons Timberwolves altercation.
Cap.
Explain.
I don't think honestly, and I think I want to give this to Connie because he kind of bit his tongue earlier on it just for this part of the show, but I don't think Ron Holland really instigated anything. I don't know what the problem was with him um swiping at the ball like he did at Paul Reed. I not Paul Reed, Nas Reed. I don't see what the problem was there, and I think two grown men trying to beat up a 19-year-old does not really qualify for the 19-year-old to get suspended. Um, but I'm not saying Ron was innocent. I'm just saying I don't think that that was the case. And if Ron only got one game, I think Dante and Reed should have gotten at least two. If Stu got two, there is footage of Stu just absolutely manhandling with Nas Reed, so I can understand the 2 games for Stu.
Oh yeah.
Um, but a couple of the other ones are questionable for me.
Yeah, I thought Stu probably. I mean, people can say it's his what's the word? Reputation. Sorry, you can say it's his reputation, but he was he was looking for it. He was diving down onto that scrum. I think he did deserve it. Sasser probably deserved it as well. He's getting in there. I do agree with Ron. That seems like a technical, like for what he did, which was retaliate when somebody stuck a finger in his face. Team up, double tees. That's a completely normal thing. And then for Dante DiVincenzo to dive in and then go in again for the neck, and then after that, Ron is just kind of at the whim of the 20 guys that are jumping on top of him. What do you really want him to do? I thought DiVincenzo deserved more, but and Ron did deserve to play.
Why why didn't Gobert get a game if Sasser got one? That's kind of been my question for a while. I feel like there was a good angle of Gobert kind of clawing at Sasser in the neck trap area. I was kind of infuriated. There was no suspension there. I'm calling complete cap. I think this was complete baloney. Stu too. Yeah, absolutely, sure. But you mess with Ron, you mess with the team like Stu's. You know what's coming when you do that. Stu too. I think that's the only suspension there should have been from the Piston part of this. I think that Dante DiVincenzo should have been around 3 or 4 games for this, and Naz Reid probably about 2. In my
Unbiased
biased
opinion.
opinion, of course.
Yeah.
But I'll swing it over to Gabe on your opinion on this factor cap.
I think it's pretty fine. I think it kind of makes sense that everyone gets suspended. I would have liked to see. I think it would have made more sense if you give DiVincenzo an extra game and you can bump Stu up another game, sure, for premeditated thoughts perhaps, and the history of fights. I'm fine with, I mean, Ron didn't deserve one, but I'm fine with him. He was part of the scuffle. He didn't try to like not be part of the scuffle. Even though it wasn't really his choice, but still. And I agree, Sasser almost like threw a punch, threw an elbow. He was scrapping, so he deserved his game. If it just stayed on the court and there weren't a million coaches that came on, I don't think it would have evolved into what it was. But when there's all those little black shirts, they kind of look like minions or something. I'll come to Pablo Prigioni. He also a surprise guest in that little brawl. But I think it's fine. It was a fight. People deserve to be suspended.
All in all,
Even
I
I think you could have gotten another game, honestly.
no.
Like
But
you could do another game if you don't give DiVincenzo another game.
no. But all in all, I loved it. And
If we
it's
won
just
the
a
game,
reminder. I saw the discourse afterwards. The only people that have to like this team is this team and these fans, man.
people
Like,
loved it though.
No,
People
but the
loved it.
reputation I see around the general media of the NBA is just like
The bad boys are back.
we like it literally is like you said, Connie, like your team, that's it. Because everybody else, for the most part, I feel like majority, especially realming into the casual fans, despise this Piston team and they
good.
despise Isaiah Stewart. And I honestly, at first, I was pissed. I got into an Instagram altercation with some Timberwolves fans, which was pretty funny. But then I'm like, you know what? Who gives a crap? We're over here, we're doing our thing, and that's the only way it's got to be. As Isaiah
There's
Thomas says, let it be known.
there's a there's a professor here at ECU. He's a hooper. He's like 70. But he's from the South, no relation to the Pistons, but he loves the Pistons, and he's just like, I like the Pistons because back in '89 and '90 with the Bad Boys, every other person hated the Pistons. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like him to be counterculture, and he still likes them now. But like, that's this team, man. You're not supposed to look forward to playing against the Pistons. You're supposed to be like, God damn it, man. I'm gonna get hit. Somebody's gonna get into it. These guys are gonna be mean to me. And it's like everybody on this team is with it, man. Like the guys that backed up in their way, and then I mean guys in other ways. Malik Beasley is just an outright like asshole. I would absolutely hate to play against Malik Beasley. He's like screaming that they can't guard him. He's shaking his shit in the air after he hits a three in front of your bench. And then everybody's just together, and like it starts with the head of the snake. People said this in a bad way, like I saw some stuff like JB Bickerstaff, head of the snake. He's the reason this team's so hot. He's got to get his guys under control, and I'm like, he's the reason this team is so hot. He's got to keep being hot. Like this is why we're good, man. Everybody from the top down, from Gores down. Gores released the statement that's like, we are with the players, we are with the fans, like screw everybody else, and that's I often said that you can't like artificially build culture, like you can't just draft culture guys and be like, this is it. But maybe I was wrong about that because the us versus them that's going on with this squad that seems to be bringing them together. The culture's coming together.
Shout
And
out
it
Troy
is.
Weaver.
Huh?
Shout out Troy Weaver.
Shout out Troy Weaver. He made some good picks. And we're being real. He made some nice picks.
He
man.
did. He did.
He saw Stu.
He did. And JV Bickerstaff is the head of the snake. He's the head of the snake that has tripled their win total from last season, over tripled, which is the first team in NBA history to do that. So if other teams don't like us, it's a little unfortunate because of how great the turnaround of this franchise has been this season. But at the same time, it's like moving forward. I think the NBA was looking for the next villain, and we're just right place, right time for that spot. So the Pistons, they're embracing that bad boy mentality, and they're playing like it, and they're gonna be very difficult to play come playoff time. But Valley, what is your next fact or cap?
My next factor cap. The Pistons will lessen their rotation in the playoffs.
We've kind of touched on it before we started recording. I think like Gabe said, it's a no-brainer that it's gonna happen. But when Ron got suspended, I felt like his absence in the rotation was like notable. So I'd like to, when we do cut it down, I'd still like to see Ron Holland within the rotation. So I'm gonna say fact. But
Who's out? Because playoff
That's-
rotations typically you'll go
9 guys?
You go
9 is a lot. I was gonna say
9
7
is a
or 8.
lot. It's
First
usually
is a lot.
8 at most.
8.
So Cade, obviously. Malik,
No, Cade's out.
Cade, Malik, Tim, Asar, JD, Isaiah Stewart, Dennis Schroeder. That's 7.
Hardaway, did you say that?
I said Tim, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Who else
I
did
Did you
think
get Tobias?
Yeah.
Tobias
I don't-
Harris, that's 8.
That is 8.
Star? Yeah,
I
that's
said Asar.
8.
That's 8.
And
But
That's
like
8.
I do see a world where Ron Holland could make an
Marcus
appearance.
Sasser, those are guys where
Ah.
it's like we talked about when Valley was making his Marcus Sasser rant. Like, if things are going wrong, those guys will play. If things are going right, I don't think they're gonna see the floor. You just
I think Ron I think is a step above Sasser and being part of the regular rotation. It might not be like major, but I think he will get burned out there.
I
as
think so as well.
not in a breaking case of emergency sort of way.
Yeah, a good like 8 to 10 minutes, 8 to 12 minutes, and
Where he just plays his ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as hard
but
as he
I
possibly can.
I also see like there's gonna be, if it is like a 3-3 series, for instance, he might not play that.
Oh,
Because you
No,
yeah,
no,
can't
yeah.
take like
Yeah.
last game where he had like 3 or 4 fast breaks where it just ended in a turnover. Because
Yeah, that was bad. He was literally just running and giving the ball to the other team.
Paul Reed had a rough game last night too, but
Some,
He did.
some bunnies missed. He had a couple lays
Yeah,
that
and
should have
that
gone
three-
down. That
he-
3-pointer off the
hit a
side.
3,
Mhm.
missed the rim. Greg just said, "Oh."
Yeah. And he's like, maybe you should take his dribble in and shoot it from the free throw line. Like that shot a little easier. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys, but like I think the part of the weapon of this team is we have so many guys that have on the bench a skill set that's similar to the starter that they're replacing, right? Like I think Greg said it yesterday, like Malik out, Tim in. Like if they're both shooting, you're not like, oh good, Malik's gone. It's like, oh shoot, Tim's back. And then when Tim goes out, it's like, okay, now Malik is back. And if Ron Holland can actually like, you know, when things go back to normal, when Cade comes back and Asar isn't going to be unleashed like he is right now, and you just need a guy that's got to come in, give you energy, and help you get out on the break and be a threat in transition. When you take out Asar, you bring in Ron. When you take out Ron, of course Asar is better, but like you still have that.
Oh,
What?
sorry, Ahmed, not to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Because you just mentioned when a star comes out, does Fontecchio come in?
Oh, Tech.
Tech.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good question. That's a very good
'cause
question.
I think
I honestly
you'd rather
think
have him than
Fontecchio is out of the
Ron in a
playoff rotation at
game.
the moment.
He has been a little bit stinky.
Yeah.
Uh,
Picking
I
up, what did he
thought he
pick up?
was
Like
well
3
last year.
fouls in like 5 minutes?
and just not really being that dangerous from the 3-point line. He's only 30%, 33% this year.
That's got to have risen slowly though. Like, yeah, we don't just do this for no reason. I don't think he'll play in the playoffs. Maybe he'll start out in the rotation the first couple of games, but I think he might get weaned out. But I think he might be in at the start just because he does, I think, play a role. I think he's an underrated defender, and he brings some size in the wing position, but and he can get hot is the thing. But I think
Hasn't been
he's
hot in a
given
while.
a handful of minutes, but I think I could see that diminish.
Yeah, if he's out there and like he is not being a threat from three and teams are realizing that, I think his rope comes to a very quick end.
Yeah, but I think he is like if you leave him open, he's gonna make the shot. I think oftentimes he takes tough shots. He's kind of handed bombs. But I do agree he's not been shooting very well. But
It seems
even
like he tries to take the shots that Malik takes, and
yeah,
Malik can
yeah,
hit him.
which is good because you want to have a threat of be the threat of a shooter, right? You want to make them guard you. But he is a good rebounder. He gets some offensive boards.
He's a big body.
And I thought last game against the Raptors when they made their run where they got within 4 or 5, I wanted him on the court just because he is smart. He takes care of the ball and he's a good passer. He just, he's not an offensive creator, but when they like have a lot of pressure on the ball, he'll make the right read, which is why I think he might be good against like a high tempo defense where they'll be up in your face. He could be good as like the release valve where he makes that pass that goes to the assist.
Yeah.
And it's just big. Like when you go against a big team, you want size instead of Ron Holland or something.
I mean, Ron Holland's 6'8".
Yeah, he's skinny though.
Yeah, it's from that. Yeah, that's right.
Fontaine
But like,
looks bigger now than he did at the start of the season. I noticed that last game.
He's a big wing.
That's all.
yeah. Okay, so let's just do this real quick. We named the 8 guys that are probably most likely going to be in that playoff rotation. Who are the next 3 up? Mine are, in this order, it goes. I think Ron above Tech, then Sasser.
I agree.
I just have Tech Ron Sesser.
Yeah.
I figured you'd do that.
I agree. Tech runs fast.
All right. Well, we will have to wait and see for that answer. But I think we're all saying fact. The rotation is going to be cut down come playoff time.
All right. My next fact or cap. The Pistons are resting Cade Cunningham.
This is like every lie has a kernel of truth in it, sort of thing. I bet Cade did hurt his calf a little bit, and they gave him some time off to get better. But I don't think it was a coincidence that right after Cade hit his 65 games played to make awards and shit, he starts sitting down, right? Like if he'd missed a couple games earlier in the season, I bet he would have played a couple games this week. I'm not too worried about it. I think it's partially rest. And this is just what, like Gabe said, what a good team does in April. And it's not what the Pistons do in April, which is rest guys for totally different reasons, and have G Leaguers go out there and lose games.
Killian Hayes wishes he was on the roster right now.
Oh yeah.
Getting the Killian name drop, a Hamadou name drop, and who else was it? We're getting some crazy name drops here today. Not Monty. Trey Weaver.
Yeah, a Trey Weaver. Yeah.
Yeah, man, we're reminiscing, man. Before we tripled
No,
the win
we're
total,
just-
go to the
Trip
playoffs.
down memory lane.
We're just knowing where we come from. That's what this is.
You gotta remember.
You got to remember.
Every game is a gift.
Yeah. Game is a gift. I'm with Connie on this one. I think that there's a little bit of truth in it. I do think it's a little bit of coincidence that he hits 65 and then he plays, the game in his hometown where he's never played before in Dallas, and then he sits. I think I kind of got another question. I'll build off of that. Does Cade play tonight? I say no. I say if we lost yesterday, he plays today.
Let's say he can't wait to play, and he's just waiting to
Yeah.
play in front of the home crowd again.
Yes.
I would love it. I mean, I'm gonna be there, so I'm part of that home crowd. So, like,
I think it's like if we see on the injury, I think Ja would play as well because they need playoff positioning. If they're coming in to win this game with their starters, we're gonna respond, I think, the same way.
That's
Like
fair.
he wants to play.
The
Like
West is tight right now, so I'm assuming Memphis
Yeah.
brings their
Oh
starters.
yeah, they need this win.
if Cade is completely healthy, which I think he is, you want some reps before the playoffs as well. You want to stay hot. You want to stay in motion. You don't want to sit and then come back with like a game left and just kind of go cold in there.
Mhm.
It'll also be, I think tonight's atmosphere is going to be insane on it. Let us know how it is, especially against like a high, like if Ja gets like a dunk and then Stu meets him once, and then there's going to be some tempers flaring and stuff. It's going to be a great.
Oh yeah.
Jaren
The
Jackson
first
versus
game
Isaiah
back.
Stewart.
Jaren
Oh,
Jackson Jr. throws some
am
elbows. He gets big, so that's going to be some scrub.
oh
Also, but
man.
the house and him getting 5 fouls.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
going back to the original question here, I think Cade's is like 25% injury. Probably just a little nagging thing. You want to have him be healthy. 50%, just resting him. He's played a lot of minutes, ball in his hand a lot. And then 25%, like we talked about earlier, having the team be able to play without Cade. I think that was an important thing they wanted to make sure that this team can do to prepare them for the playoffs, and they accomplished what they wanted. So I think Cade plays tonight, and I think 25% injury.
Take it. Valley?
In terms of if Cade is playing tonight,
Yeah. I mean, either or factor cap of the injury or is it recovery?
I kind of said I think it's kind of like I do think there was some sort of inflammation or something going on with the calf, and we were as precautionary as could be. And I think playing against John Morant, I think he wants that. I think he wants to label himself as the better player there, the better young star there.
The very young American star.
Right on. But with us kind of resting Cade, that kind of goes directly actually into the next fact or cap, which is factor cap. The Pistons want the New York Knicks.
I'm gonna say fact
There's
because
conversations in that front office saying, okay, if it happens, we don't mind this and we kind of want the Knicks.
I can't really contradict what I just said, saying that like I think that it is a lot of us resting Cade. So if we're resting Cade, that's kind of gonna be like part of the repercussion, I guess, is you're gonna fall in seeding. Even though the team has played extremely well in Cade's absence, what are we 4-2
We
when
are
Cade's
still
at?
15, yeah.
Yeah, so I do think that of course, the Pistons have probably also seen that the rumors that we talked about last time on the pod of the Knicks saying we want Detroit because we want a first round built in buy. So maybe it's kind of like, okay, like that's fine. We'll take down New York and then we'll face whoever comes next. But I honestly, like we talked about last pod, any series we play is gonna have some juice behind it. So but I'll just go with the fact for this one.
I'm saying fact as well, but you know what the Cavs did? What was it last year where they actually tried to lose some games to get Orlando? There's no way we're gonna try to lose any games. But I do think we'd prefer New York, just because they can't play defense. Indiana is just a scary team. I think they're really
I'm
good.
scared of Indiana.
Yeah.
Hate to say it.
So personally, I would love to play New York. I think we beat them, honestly. Um, the team, I think they're just going out there, and you don't want to change any mindset. You try to win every single game. It doesn't matter who's in front of you. And you like the mindset is we're gonna win anyway. So I don't think they really prefer either one. But it would be nice to be on the opposite side of Boston, which is the main thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think being in this 4-5, I think it's where we're gonna end up, and it's the spot to be. I don't think there's really any preference between the two. I feel like the wanting the Knicks thing is more of a Pistons fan thing than a Pistons team thing. Yeah.
Probably. But the April 11th game is going to be fun no matter who you are. The players know it, the fans know it, the media knows it. So I'm excited for that game.
But yeah, I mean if we were talking about this a bit, but the Pacers have a much better record against teams above 500 than the Knicks do. So it's something to consider.
And that we do as well.
Yeah, and that we do.
I mean, if Indiana wants to take out, I don't know, Boston or Cleveland, and then they want to meet us later on in the playoffs, that would be more fun for me. So keep going, Valley.
All right, I've got two left. One is more of a look ahead, and one is kind of for right now. But I want to jump in with this one. Factor cap. JB Bickerstaff is the coach of the year.
Fact.
Fact.
Do we need explanation?
No.
No.
All right.
Look at the record. Look at how this team's playing. Fact.
His number one competitor, I'd say, is Kenny Atkinson, who deserves to win the award, but
I've been as a guy I've been working with. He's from Akron, Ohio. He's a big Cavs fan, and we passed a lot of time debating who's going to be the coach of the year, and obviously there's some nice debates there. But I'm thinking there's no way it can't be JB, given we're the
won't
first
be
team of
JB,
all time to
but-
triple our win tally from one year to the next, and just simply the camaraderie amongst this team. But more of a look ahead when I was reflecting on these games, my last factor cap here going into the next season. Asar Thompson will have a most improved or all defense jump in the 25-26 season.
Fact.
And I see Tobias missing some time and what Asar is able to do with that. I just get so excited about the potential of it. So factor cap, Asar will have an MIP and all defensive jump in the next season.
I'll say fact. I can see why it's hard to like get to that level because I don't know. I don't know if the star can get to a level where he is MIP, an MIP
I don't know where
candidate.
get that volume. Like unless he really turns it up on the defense and becomes like
Yeah.
an Andre Iguodala type.
Why not? I think he already gets media recognition for it. I think it helps having Amen Thompson out there, like just having
I think all defense team is much more likely.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just don't think he'll get the offensive role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
He's
like
not gonna win MIP. That goes to scorers.
like Cade.
Yeah.
Norman Powell was in the running for a while until he outqualified himself by the
I
game
think
thing.
Scoot Henderson will win MIP next year.
Ooh. Save that for the season preview pod. Okay, one more. I'll throw one more in here. It was going around on social media that George Blaha was saying about
I wanted to bring this up too.
Jaden Ivey that Jaden will be back on the court very, very soon. Is Jaden Ivey back on the court before the Pistons season is over at the end of their playoff run?
Yes, he's coming
Yeah.
back. I believe he's getting a medical evaluation this coming week, midweek. I read a report. I think that'll be an interesting one. If there's good news where he's cleared for practice basketball activities, 5-on-5s eventually, that stuff. I I could see it. I do think that it's very possible, and he looks really good moving out there. But I do think it's easy to be like, oh look, he's shooting jumpers. He's gonna come back. I think that's the optimist in me. But the optimist in me is also gonna say, yeah, he's coming back.
Connie Gabe.
I don't think so.
No.
If we weren't as good as we are right now, if we're going into the playoffs on kind of a cold streak, I'd say maybe. But we're playing well right now. We have our rotation, like you said. There's players who can step into that role. I don't think he's playing.
I don't like the timetable just doesn't make sense to me. Like he only hurt himself 3 months ago, and then he has to not only like heal, but then he has to get his conditioning back, and then he has to get his it. I just can't see it. But I'm also dreaming of a world where like the Pistons come home with like a 2-0 with like a 1-1 series against anybody, and Jaden Ivey checks in. Like it would be crazy in LCA.
I
Like
think
Yeah.
go
But
ahead.
just
signature moment.
the return to play, not having played in a very long time, this team
Yeah.
looking quite different from a guy's perspective, like since he played. I just don't think it's not worth it.
No, I don't
Just
think so.
get the off season, gel everything together, come back next year with a vengeance, man.
I thought
Be the X factor next year.
I mean, when you mentioned George Blaha, I thought you were going to mention him cooking Shea Gilgeous-Alexander
That
to
too.
under
You can,
game.
yeah, you can take that
Viral
too.
for that, yeah.
Blaha going viral. He's like he's been on one all season. We've kind of been
Yeah,
missing it. I
Tyrese
believe
Halliburton, Shea.
this is his. I think this is his 49th
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I in a dream scenario next year is his 50th.
We win the chip.
We
and
win
he
the chip
retires.
and
And he
he
retires.
calls it. And I think that would be I think that's what Georgia wants. I think he wants to get to 50. And I sure hope he does it. I thought that was hilarious how he cooked Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Thought that was really good. I think that was a rightful response after he goes foul hunting in the end game. But absolutely. I still believe that there's hope that Ivy can return, but yeah, I lost my train of thought with getting excited about Blaha cooking Shea, shooting 10 for 26 with a measly 3 assists.
I believe Jalen Brunson was, as of yesterday, just cleared for basketball activity again. So, there's that in terms of if we play the Knicks. Anything else before we take a quick look ahead at the final five?
I do no, not before. I do have a little 5 random players that I want to know if you guys can guess what team they are. It's not Pistons related, so we'll
Okay.
do it.
So let's get through this real quick. The Pistons got their final five games coming up this season. We got Memphis, Sacramento, New York, and then we go Milwaukee. Anything you guys are looking for in these final five games? Anything specific at all?
I think I'm looking forward to the one guaranteed win we have in there only, which is Sacramento. I think the rest of those will be dogfights, and I think I look forward to those being dogfights. I think that's what this team does, and I think we'll thrive in those situations. But obviously, those two final games of the season against Milwaukee, all eyes there. So important to playoff seeding, and it'll be interesting to see if both teams kind of go at it with playoff intensity, trying to best each other in the standings, or if they're content with where they are, and if there's more strategy involved there. But looking forward to the dogfights, Sacramento side, hopefully, and those two final games against Milwaukee.
Fair enough.
I'm
Honey
really,
Gabe.
I'm really looking at this New York game, especially you said Jalen Brunson will be back. You do, coaches don't pull out all the tricks in like these late games when you might play each other in the playoffs, but it would be cool to see. I think we're gonna start to get a feel of how these teams will play each other if we do match up with New York. Um, just the iso ball they play. Can Jalen Duren keep up with Cat? And can they stop us at all? Because they haven't been able to stop a lot of teams. So I'm probably gonna watch that game most intently with like a one eye on the game, one eye on the playoffs, and then the Milwaukee games. I kind of think might be duds because I think at that point we'll kind of know whether they're 5 and we're 6. But other than that, I'm expecting
That would be so fun though. If we both went into those two games tied for the sixth,
Yeah.
but
They're
that
only a
would be
half
so
game
fun.
up right now.
And we have that game in hand, so I think they have the tiebreaker but they do play
They do.
tonight, and we play tonight as well.
So, I mean that New York
game, of course, would
Milwaukee.
just be fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Prediction to close out the season.
4-1, meaning the Pistons win 47 ball games.
I'm gonna say
3-2.
3-2. I gotta stay confident that we can beat New York, and I think we maybe take one from Milwaukee because they're just gonna be like, okay, it's the Pistons, and then they'll come back against us the second game. So I'll say 3-2. I'm going tonight. We gotta win. I have to go 3-2.
You go 2 and 3.
All right, be the negative Nancy. That's fine.
Yeah. Hope I'm wrong.
All right, Gabe, throw us 5 players. Let's see if
All
we
right.
can guess what team they're on.
5 players, and then I'll
Play
end it on a
for it.
guess that Piston that I don't think we've done before, but maybe we have.
Okay.
All right, we'll start off with the Pistons legend, Tony Bradley. What team is he on?
Yeah, these all NBA teams, or is he elsewhere?
These are NBA teams.
Okay.
These guys are all NBA rosters that have played minutes
Is he on
this
the
month or last month.
Is he on the Utah Jazz?
Nope.
I think we.
I wanted to say that too.
I think we got him from the Jazz. Then didn't
We did. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
we did. Is he on the Spurs?
Nope. Connie, you got a guess?
That's a good guess. That they're like
Nope.
big man.
No idea.
Give me that's a crazy one.
Indiana Pacers. Yeah.
Damn.
Him and Wiseman,
All right.
huh?
This guy is an NBA rotation player here, Josh Okogie.
Wait, when
He
did
was
this
on
guy
the Suns
ever
and he
play?
got traded. Where did he get traded?
Wait,
to?
you
He got
said
traded?
Pistons legend Tony Bradley.
He was on the I think he was
We
one of
signed him for Troy
Weaver's
Beaver
first
signed him.
acquisitions.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we
Yeah, and then he waived him. He was part of the
Field
trade
sign.
and wave.
I
Okay,
think he was part of that when we signed like
he didn't play a single
Julio
game.
Okafor and
Yeah,
stuff.
Grant, yeah.
Wait, so this next guy is not these aren't all Pistons.
No, Josh Okogie.
He was on the Suns. I thought he got traded.
No,
Is he on Dallas?
He's on a crazy team. Oh, I think I've seen him in a box score recently.
He got moved. He got picked. Oh no.
Is he on the Kings?
Is he on Eastern? He's on a bad team, right?
He's on a horror.
Oh, is he on the
Is he on the Nets?
is he on the Charlotte Hornets?
He's on the Hornets.
Hey, Connie's on the board.
Connie.
No. Let's
Damn.
go.
All right. Now some guys you may not even have heard of.
That's
Justin Minaya.
Don't know who that is.
Minnot.
Minaya. Japanese last name.
Grizzlies. I don't know. Never.
Grizzlies. No. Yeah, Grizzlies. Only guess I can think of.
I don't have a guess.
He's on the Trailblazers.
I was close.
I don't play 2K anymore, man.
All right. This guy's been around the league for a little bit. Trenton Flowers.
Huh? Flowers.
Flowers.
Been around the league, huh? I'm gonna go with the Nets.
Nope.
Been around the league for a
Damn.
little bit. I don't know, Gabe. I don't know, but I just looked this guy up. He has not been around the league for a little bit.
Okay.
He has played for a G League team and one NBA team, and then another
Alright,
G League team.
I don't know. I just gotta throw Washington out there.
We
Gotta get them in here.
Trenton Watford is who I was thinking of.
Watford.
Flowers plays for the
Oh.
Clippers.
Yeah, Trenton Watford. Is
Oh, I knew that.
This
Yeah.
last guy I was high on coming out of the draft. Maxwell Lewis.
He was a Laker.
Isn't he on the?
He's oh shit, I know this.
Can anyone tie Connie?
I want to really badly.
Was
I hate losing.
Lewis.
he was on the Lakers. Did he get traded off the Lakers?
Yes, he did.
Was he part of
Oh, the Brooklyn Nets.
Ding.
He was
is
traded for Dorian
on
Finney-Smith.
the-
I was gonna say Brooklyn too.
Yeah.
Damn, should have just said it.
Just guess Nets for all of them, and I'm bound to.
I was gonna guess Brooklyn or I was gonna guess New Orleans.
All right.
That's crazy.
I break
We
it.
gotta-
You two, whoever answers it first wins. Ron Harper Jr.
Pistons.
Pistons.
Dick Lewis.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you want to go into the guess this piston?
Let's go into it. You gotta do more of those. I like these segments. Guess where this guy's playing.
Yeah, that was
Fun.
fun.
It's in honor of the April basketball player. Mickey Mouse March, as Traker recalls it. All right, go ahead. 10 guesses.
is he white?
No.
Anybody else?
Has he played 2015 and onward for the Pistons?
Yes.
Okay, he's played in the last 10 years here.
Is he guard?
Yeah.
You got anything on it?
No, I don't. You guys keep going.
Guard.
Was he on either playoff team?
No.
Okay.
So does that mean he played? Oh no, it doesn't. Not necessarily.
That's 2019 for a guard.
Is he a
So he didn't
rotation
play-
player?
Okay.
Gabe?
Yeah, I'd say like a Ron Holland type rotation player.
10th man, 11th man, kind of.
Is it Ron Holland?
No. He is on a playoff team. All right, halfway through the guesses. I would say more not a rotation player than a rotation player.
Yeah.
He's a guard.
Did he have a notable career outside of the Pistons?
Yes. Did you ask if he's a guard?
Oh, I got it.
No. Connie did earlier.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. He did appear in the playoffs.
Okay, so he was either on the
Is he
Blake
actually
team?
playing in the Western Conference?
Yes.
Well, how many guesses are we at?
7.
I think Ballard knows who it is.
I do think I know who it is. I have another question, but I want to give you guys the opportunity.
You can take my question. I don't have one.
Single digit jersey number?
I don't know his jersey number.
He's a role player for us. So he either played with the Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson team,
There.
or he played with the Blake Griffin
What
squad.
did you ask?
Single digit jersey number.
Yes.
Oh.
Which was later changed.
Oh, actually, that doesn't help me.
Later changed.
My mind is stuck on Bruce Brown, but I don't think it's Bruce Brown because he was more of a rotational piece for us. But he's Western Conference number 6.
Yeah.
Who had a
Played.
meaningful career afterwards, and who was on the playoff team. By the way, I was thinking Kyrie Thomas for a second. Now playing in the Canadian Basketball League, Kyrie Thomas.
Wow. And we took him ahead of Bruce Brown. That's crazy.
2 more guesses.
A guard. Should we narrow down what team he was on more?
I mean, he was on one of 2 teams, right?
18, 19.
I mean, there
or
was a
16,
Casey, there was a Monty, and he could. Well, I guess he couldn't have been this year.
No, he said he played for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he was 15, 16,
Or 18, 19.
or
it
18,
had. Because he
19.
said no at first. It had to be the latter half, the 18-19 run. I'm thinking about the guards on that team. Who do we have? Reginald Jackson. Can't be Reggie. It can't be. Really.
And he's still playing.
Can't be Luke Kennard.
Is that like your 9th question, Amit?
No. It's not a question.
Yeah, it can't be Luke Kennard.
It can't be Luke. No, we ruled that out first.
You have 2 more questions.
Who-
You could narrow it down.
Who else? Who was on the guards on that 2018 playoff team?
I'm trying to think.
Was he?
Reggie Bullock.
Oh, we can just narrow
no.
it down. Like, we we have 2 more questions?
You have
Yeah.
2 more questions.
Did he play with Blake Griffin on the Detroit Pistons?
No.
Okay.
So
What
it's
was it? He was
15, 16.
So we're
2016.
talking 2016.
I was gonna say KCP, but KCP's not in the West anymore.
And he was not a bit player.
He started for.
Yeah.
So who was on that squad?
Okay,
man?
so Reggie, KCP was the starting backcourt.
Yeah.
Steve Blake was on that roster. Langston Galloway
Spencer
was not on that
Dinwiddie.
roster. Sorry,
Spencer Dinwiddie.
We did have
wasn't on that. Wasn't
he
on
was
that
on
team.
that route. Yes, he was.
Didn't we trade him midway?
I don't know, but he was on the team.
And he's in the West
I'm
right now.
pretty sure
Single digit jersey number.
he left the next season.
Oh, could be Dinwiddie.
I'm pretty sure it's Dinwiddie because he had a significant career outside the Pistons. Single digit jersey number, not white.
He was a role player on that team.
Was there
I
anybody
remember-
And
I
currently
remember
in the Western Conference.
I did not like him.
I didn't either.
Blake was our backup point guard. Insane. Was Steve Blake our backup point guard that year?
Yeah, Steve Blake was playing real minutes, man. I loved Steve Blake on that squad. Who else was on that team? When did Brandon Jennings leave the Pistons?
We
But
traded
he's
him.
currently not playing. That's the
Oh,
other
is
thing. I
that
thought about
he's
that
still
too.
he is still playing. Okay.
In the West.
In the West. Oh, then it's gotta
Spencer
be
Dinwiddie.
It's gotta be Dinshitty.
Is it Spencer
It
Dinwiddie?
is Spencer Dinwiddie. Way to get there at the end.
Way to go,
He
fellas.
left the Pistons he joined the Nets December 2016. I don't think he was re-signed after his rookie year, if I'm right.
He played 2 years here.
Oh no, on June
One.
he was traded for Cameron Bairstow in June 2016.
Pistons legend.
Banger of a trade.
That was a
All
good one, Cade.
right. Good pod.
Good pod, guys. Well, thank you
Great.
guys so much for listening to this episode. If you are still listening, we got playoff basketball on the horizon. The final 5 games of the season are coming up. 3 of them against teams the Pistons very well could play in the playoffs. But until next time, we're gonna try to do a playoff preview series pod, and then we're also gonna do we'll decide if we're gonna do it after the season or after the playoffs, but we may do a postseason review season awards. But until next time, throw the Buffs on Detroit because the future is bright.